Hi, I am David Ezekiel, interim pastor for the Congregational Church of Batavia. Thank you for inviting me into your life for these wonderful moments. Today, our focus is primarily upon those graduating from high school and institutions of higher learning. We're always proud of them for the milestone they have reached in their life, and we joyfully anticipate the next steps in a life filled with accomplishments. Our church cares deeply about whether we have laid a strong foundation that will sustain our graduates for the rest of their lives, and not just them, but for all of you who are listening to this message as well. It is our endeavor here at the Congregational Church of Batavia to be known as the house that built you. And if you have not already done so, go back and listen to and watch the video by Miranda Lambert entitled The House That Built Me. It is the season for graduations. Unfortunately, the vast majority of our students are not getting the opportunity to walk across the stage and receive their diploma, a piece of paper certifying one has reached an important goal in life. A degree is a goalpost on the way to education. Graduated, though, is not educated. Education is a lifelong task, and it will last a lifetime. I have walked across the platform, and I have gotten to sit on the platform and watch students walk across and receive their diplomas and a handshake. And I have wondered if what we have taught matters. Will it make a difference in times to come, especially as our students graduate in uncertain times? I hope that our graduating students and our older long-term members realize that we have tried to teach many things: faith, hope, love, service, tolerance, compassion, grace, welcome, inclusion, trust, respect, community. However, I believe the greatest thing the church can offer is the passion, the desire to pursue a healthy curiosity. Curiosity to explore the deeper aspects of the faith, and a curiosity to always explore ways to help others. In short, I encourage everyone to pursue every educational opportunity possible. Read books, learn from others, hear other viewpoints, travel, participate in other cultures, celebrate diversity, develop honest, informed opinions. When I moved to college, I was challenged in more ways than one regarding my faith. It seemed like most people I was meeting were indifferent to any sort of religious faith at all, and this was in stark contrast to my conservative small town roots. And during that season, I sought out the guidance of my church family, who only told me that I needed to believe only what they had taught. My church neither welcomed nor encouraged my questioning or my search for answers or for things that mattered and related to the world in which I lived. They did not help me to realize that such questioning, such a journey of search, was all part of a healthy faith journey. It was then that I realized that it was my ongoing, continuing education that was helping me to continue to grow in faith, love, and tolerance, even when I was faced with challenges. And for that foundation that I learned from other persons who helped and nurtured the growth of my spiritual faith in ways in which cannot be imagined, I am forever grateful. It was that foundational aspect of developing an intellectual curiosity that has sustained me all of the ups and downs of my life. And trust me, there will be ups and downs, joys and sorrows, excitements and frights in all of our lives as we get older. For life is lived in uncertain times. And so I recall in the May 24th, 1992 Parade magazine that carried an account of an address by Elie Wiesel for graduates who were entering the world in uncertain times. When he said almost 30 years ago is no less applicable and important today. Elie Wiesel was imprisoned for more than a year in Auschwitz and Buchenwald, Nazi concentration camps during World War II, and nearly all his family members were killed there. And the theme of his address to the graduates was about the dangers of fanaticism. He suggested that most of the significant problems in our time are rooted in fanaticism. And here are the closing paragraphs of his address. I know you have been tested during your years in school, more than once. But the real tests are still ahead of you. How will you deal with your own or other people's hunger, homelessness, sexual or gender discrimination, and community antagonisms? The outside world is not waiting to welcome you with open arms. The economic climate is bad. The psychological one is worse. And you wonder, will you find jobs, allies, friends? And I pray to our Father in heaven the answer is yes to all of these problems. But should you encounter temporary disappointments, I also pray do not make someone else pay the price for your pain. Do not see in someone else a scapegoat for your difficulties. Only a fanatic does that, not you. For you have learned to reject fanaticism. You know that fanaticism leads to hatred, and hatred is both destructive and self-destructive. I speak to you as a teacher and a student. One is both always. I always speak to you as a witness. I speak to you, for I do not want my past to become your future. Wow. The more things change, the more they remain the same. All of us, young and old, need to be reminded of the importance of continuing education in life, for life. For all the inadequacies of education alone to bring meaning to life, it does occupy a most important place. A minister I know tells that he went to the graduation exercises of the high school from which he was later to graduate. Upon receiving her high school diploma, a girl turned and faced the audience, raised her arms, and shouted, "Educated, by God!" Everybody laughed. Everybody applauded. But upon retrospect, if she really believed that what she shouted, it was more sad than humorous. Tom stated that if she thought her education was complete with a diploma from a rural high school in South Alabama, she really was ignorant and deluded. For our education ought to never end. There is no excuse for being ignorant in today's world. There are too many ways to continue to learn. If we are going to be effective citizens with opinions worthy of being heard, there is a certain body of contemporary factual knowledge with which we ought to have more than just a passing acquaintance. What we think is not nearly so important as what is true. We are all entitled to our own private opinions, but not to our own private set of facts. The essence of education is to seek truth by constantly testing our opinions against the facts and adjusting our opinions in the light of truth. The truth is not always what we are thinking. There is a magnetic sticker on one of the filing cabinets next to where I write that says, "Don't believe everything you think." An educated person does not persist in what Shakespeare called rubbing the poor itch of your own opinions. The pure and often painful truth is the only curative balm for that poor itch. Let me paraphrase what a university president said in a speech not too long ago. The road to truth runs by the schoolhouse. We should all have opinions without being opinionated, and there is a difference between the two. Become the best educated person you can, and stay educated by continuing to study and think. And remember, you need the help of a higher power. If you're feeling a little anxious today and also feeling a little anxious about tomorrow, good. You should be. But listen, you and I aren't left to our own resources alone. There is an amazing and holy power at work in the world, a power that God pours out upon those who ask, those who trust. And despite what graduation speakers say, you ain't all that. But beloved, God is. There are many times and there are big moments in our lives when we wonder if we are up to the challenge, up to what lies ahead. But if we trust what this house of faith has tried to do, has tried to teach you, it is this: with God, you will have what it takes. The heritage of our faith is that believers have the responsibility to teach one another. The African proverb says, "It takes a village to raise a child." And this means that the learning of values does not begin or end with those who possess teaching certificates or clergy credentials. True education takes place in homes with committed parents and relatives. True education happens when neighbors share resources and responsibilities that are vital to community growth and enhancement. Real education takes place when responsible individuals serve as mentors and counselors and life coaches to others who are trying to find their way. And that is what we have tried to be. We have tried to be the house that has built you. And upon that strong foundation, go and change the world. Amen and amen.